Welcome to Working Wonders, the series at the edge of industry, technology, and human capabilities. Today, we're going to take you into the heart of an amazing world that we all depend on for many of our basic needs, but few of us have experienced firsthand. The offshore oil and gas business is highly lucrative, expanding across the globe and constantly pressing to meet the demands of an economy that runs on hydrocarbons. Working in some of the most extreme climates on Earth and moving into ever deeper water, the offshore industry is crossing new frontiers where the payouts are staggering. Let's look at the numbers. In the United States alone, the offshore industry is estimated to contribute more than $30 billion per year to the gross domestic product. And about 250,000 American jobs are connected to offshore oil and gas drilling and production. While the offshore industry began with wells drilling close to shore in only a few feet of water, today deep water exploration in the Gulf of Mexico occurs 150 miles out to sea, in water that is more than 2,500 feet deep. These deep water wells reach oil far beneath the sea floor, at depths that have been known to exceed 35,000 feet. That's about 6,000 feet beyond the height of the world's largest mountain, Mount Everest. The technology that is required to work at such depths and under such great pressure is equal to that which is required in outer space. We are looking at man's most advanced accomplishments. Thunder Horse, a BP deepwater production platform and one of the largest in the world, produces 200 million cubic feet of oil per day. A similar giant, the Shell Perdido platform, costs $3 billion to build, but due to its ability to achieve such high volumes of production, the prospects for profit are equally high. Let's take an up-close look at the technologies, personnel, and processes that define offshore work and bring this industry closer to home. From the moment you set down on your rig, it's confirmed. The Gulf of Mexico oil field is a beehive of activity, unlike any you've ever seen. Currently, more than 800 mobile drilling units, or MODUs, are running in the Gulf. Add to the drilling rigs the count of more than 5,000 manned and unmanned production platforms that are constantly pumping oil and gas. And the rigs and platforms run 24/7, 365 days a year. This means the industry is always in operation, only shutting down when hurricanes force personnel to evacuate. Producing on this scale and at the level of complexity and sophistication offshore work demands takes trained, capable people with deep expertise. That's why a drill vessel like this one is a compendium of workers from different professions and companies, all joined in the quest for a profitable strike. In the industry, it's called the payout, and that's what this rig is after, big time. Many of these employees work for the drilling contractor that is operating the rig. This includes the roughnecks on the drill floor, roustabouts working over the side of the riser well or above the deck, always with the proper equipment to protect them from falls, mechanics keeping this sophisticated equipment humming along, and electricians also called motormen, who keep the installation's many electrical components working and the lights on. This crew is overseen by the Offshore Installation Manager, or OIM, who is in charge of operations and personnel. He's like the captain of a giant ocean-going vessel that also happens to punch holes in the seafloor. A myriad of subcontractors are constantly present, performing specialized operations or servicing equipment. It's a United Nations of expertise in different colored jumpsuits. Just as striking as the range of personnel and the constant activity is the equipment. It's truly amazing. Giant cranes that transport goods and even personnel back and forth from support vessels hundreds of feet below. The top drive that drives the drill string tens of thousands of feet into the ground, and not just vertically, but even horizontally in order to reach all producing zones. Mechanized pipe handling equipment, a satellite-guided dynamic positioning system that makes sure this giant vessel remains within just a few meters of its location. Remotely operated vehicles, or ROVs, that perform tasks on the ocean floor. And of course, the stream of supply boats that service the rig and bring it all the materials and goods it needs to operate, from food to fuel. But the most astounding and impressive piece of equipment is undoubtedly the rig itself. We're aboard a self-propelled drill ship that has worked in offshore regions around the globe. most cost-effective way to take an item, or let's say 10,000 items, from point A to point B? With the rising costs of fuel, it's worth your while to consider. Do you choose a tractor trailer or semi? The railroad? How about a mode of transport that predates them all, but is just as viable today as ever? The inland waterways industry, with its powerful boats towing strings of high-capacity barges, may be a traditional way to move materials, but it's also technologically advanced, cost-effective, and environmentally friendly. Shipping along the inland waterways offers the most economical mode of freight transportation, largely due to the enormous capacity of river barges. A typical barge floating along the Mississippi River holds 15 times more cargo than a railroad car and 60 times more than a semi-trailer. Each year, the industry moves more than 800 million tons of raw materials and finished goods. This includes transporting about 20% of the coal used to produce electricity in the U.S., as well as nearly all the home heating oil used in New England. 60% of America's grain exports on its way overseas, and about 30% of the hazardous chemicals and other materials moved in America. Behind the numbers is a gripping story of the technologies and people that bring this vital industry to life. Let's take a close-up look. In the industry, it's known as building tow, the often painstaking process of linking barges to their means of transport. These crew members have been at it for hours now, building a tow of 12 barges, getting it ready for its long journey up the river. It just needs one more important ingredient: the power to push against a river current, often a half a mile in width. In this case, that's a stout, powerful and technologically leading-edge line haul towboat.